Alright everybody, I want to welcome you back to our recap content. I'm going to just pretend as if week 1 had happened. This is the Cult of Larry Draft League. This is our weekly recap content where we go over all the matches from the week and we'll go into special depth for one from each of our divisions, and then we'll take a look at the standings, see how things are doing. I'm Dr. Geo, with me is
P McGee.
And we have a lot of content to cover, but we will cover week 1 insofar as saying that life kind of happened. Everyone played matches. It was all really great, but at this point, as we move into week 3, we're not going to go back and cover those matches. So if you had a really great match, I'm sorry it won't be covered in this video, but we watched it. I enjoyed it. I can guarantee it.
Yeah, there was a lot of great week 1 games. It was a really exciting start to the season.
But we got to move forward. Porybot died, so we got Garybot now, which is better.
Better?
It's better branding. It's better branding bot.
This is very true. Porygon has no relevance to us, while Gary is eternal.
Yes. Well, Gary's the historian now. Maybe he's finally upgrading from Disciple. But okay, so we're gonna get into these matches. So right off the bat, we're starting with Initiate. So these are all carry matches, and we start with the Palatown Plague, coached by Tox, going up against the Miami Mantines, coached by Old Man Jinzens. We
didn't really think about this before it happened. Probably should have figured how to say that word.
In any case, this is our featured match for this league, so I'm not going to get into the results. We're going to watch it and give some more in-depth comments, but you can see the mons that are brought here if you want. If you want to skip ahead a little bit in the video, shame on you, first off, but second off, I get it. But here are the months, but we're gonna move on right into the next match. Here we have the Moody Marshadow, coached by Bloop, going up against the Portland Pincers, coached by Jeg. So, on Moody's side, we have the Tornadus Therian, the Slowking Galar, Clefable, Moltres, Garchomp, Mega Garchomp, and Mimikyu.
And then on Jeg's side, we've got the Gengar, the Corviknight, the Mega Ampharos rocking that hair, the Urshifu Single Strike, Diancie, and Slowking.
It's the Battle of Slowkings. That's actually a lot of fun.
It's a lot of defensive regenerator action going on. And then some really tough to kill mons like Clefable and Corviknight and Moltres also hanging out.
So, kind of right off the bat, what I see is, this is just a regular Diancie though. This isn't Mega Diancie.
This is regular. This is correct. Ampharos is the Mega one.
Yeah. All right, that's good to remember, because I was about to say Mega Diancie goes ham in this match, but it really doesn't, because it's just a Diancie. So like, I think Jeg's team has a really tough time breaking through this team. Like, as long as you get, like, if you can't get the predictions, you're gonna be in for a hard time. Gengar goes ham.
Yeah.
Like, that's probably the only thing like you have going for you, is that Gengar can basically click Shadow Ball for free here. And
yeah, there's no switch ends. Slowking's not taking 2 of those.
Maybe your best bet.
AV Torn. I would say AV Torn is probably your out there.
Yeah.
But even still,
that's probably it.
Gengar just wants to click Shadow Ball twice, probably wants to run a Scarf. There's not really a switch in there. So every time you get something like Clefable in front of the Gengar's really, really happy to spam buttons. Even Mega Garchomp has to be careful because it does get Icy Wind, which does a lot to Chomp and pretty reliably to a KO. So if Chomp takes Chip, then Chomp kind of gets swallowed by Gengar too.
So yeah, the more we talk about it, the more Gengar looks like an absolute menace. I mean, Urshifu's still kind of here too, but like with the Moltres and Clefable pseudo in check, like, you know, it's got moves to get around it. The Iron Head, Poison Jab, Stone Edge. So it's got ways to play around it, but if you just like slap a scarf on, you can't just like U-turn around and expect good things. The Slow Kings like to stare at each other. It's pretty cute.
That's about all they. Well, only one of them even has his eyes to stare out with. The other one's kind of relying on the cloister to do the staring.
In the same vein, you know, I feel like one Sword Stance and Scale Shot and Mega Chomp's kind of ready to go. Maybe two to get through the Corviknight.
Yeah, it needs probably the SD.
It needs two SDs probably. Corviknight's so bulky. It's bulkier than Skarmory. That's like the scary thing. Like the HP stat's so much higher. Its total bulk's like higher than Skarm's. It's wild.
Yeah, they're both pretty. And Corviknight's got enough SpDef bulk where Chomp can't go mixed to push through it the way it could with Skarmory.
Yeah. Ampharos Mega is fun if you can get it in front of the Moltres.
Yeah, Moltres, Torn, even Clefable. Actually, Clefable doesn't care about it.
No, it's just gonna Moonblast.
Yeah. Yeah, but Torn or Moltres, you're having some fun.
I think if Jeg gets ahead, like this defensive, like core pivot style Bloop wants to play, I think it's just gonna fall apart. Or worse, if you lose the Chomp here, Mimikyu doesn't really do all that much. It's like there shouldn't be a world where Mimikyu is faster than the Urshifu, or even the Gengar, but like it can Shadow Sneak the Gengar. It can't really touch Corv. It can't Shadow Sneak or Shifu, so like in light of that, like you just need to make sure you can, like as long as you can break the disguise, you'll kill it. Like everything's okay, you know.
Yeah, keep Corviknight healthy and you're fine for Mimikyu. Yeah. But yeah, let's see how this match turned out.
Even Deontay can probably tank a couple hits,
as long as it's not a Woodhammer set for sure.
Oh right, I forgot about that move.
Doesn't have a reason to run it.
And Jeg takes it. We have 2 kills on the Gengar, 2 on the Urshifu, 1 on the Slowking, 1 on the Deontay, and just Torn. I have a feeling, just kind of looking at this, Gengar broke open the walls, and then it's just slow pivoting around until you get Mons in front that take care of business.
Urshifu and Gengar start claiming kills once things like Clefable get chipped down just a little bit, even. They start coming in and clicking their 2-hit KO attacks, and there's not a lot of answers left.
Yeah. So good showing from Jeg.
Yeah.
Let's move on to our next match. Here we have the Dallas High Horsepower, coached by Shark Finnegan, going up against the Northern Pokemon Collective, coached by Mike CW.
Shark for Shark.
Yeah, it is a Shark for Shark. Okay, here we have the Zapdos, the Cobalion, Slowbro, Arcanine, Ursaluna, and Spectre.
And then on Mike's side, we got the Mew, the Swellow, the Steela, the Kommo-o, the Alolan Muck, and the Mega Blastoise.
So we've kind of we looked at this match.
We talked a fair bit about this one.
It's a weird Spectre match. Yeah, offline. And which is funny because we only talk online, but that's like the business jargon for not live on calls. You say, oh, we'll talk about it offline. Anywho, looking at like the matchup, and we didn't really look too much at what was on the rosters behind it. It's a really weird Spectre match, as in it's a bad Spectre match.
Yeah, Alolan Muck Pursuit Traps, Kommo-o doesn't care about Shadow Ball. Even Swellow can come in on some things and spam.
It's scrappy, so like it can hit you. Doesn't care.
Yeah, so it just seemed like Spectrier was dead in the water, just inviting counters in, and something easy like Alolan Muck just basically Pursuit Traps and removes it from play. And Alolan Muck, especially with a Slowbro there, has every reason to show up in a match like this.
Yeah.
So it's just not a great time for Spectrier. Ursaluna is obviously well suited to do things. Facade basically 2-hit KOs everything, and so the Trick Room Facade play is
I think has interesting matchups, but like it needs a lot of chip on things. If it's not Celesteela to bring it down, like it can play her off the Kommo-o, can Wild Charge Blastoise, High Horsepower, Alolan Muck, Flare Blitz, the Celesteela. You can't run all those moves because you kind of want like Morning Sun too, because you'll get worn down a little bit. But
from your own chip, yeah, for sure.
But like you have ways to play around it. Maybe even extreme speed for the Swellow. I'm not sure on what the optimized set is. Arcanine's a hard mon like that, but certainly have some play.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm Shark here, I lead Slowbro, I click Trick Room, and I try to get Nurse Luna and just put pressure on immediately.
Yeah, I
If
think
you
that's
want
how
to
you
use
do it.
Spectrier, like if there's a time for Spectrier to be valuable, it's you just force Mike into sacking all the Spectrier answers, trying to deal with Ursaluna, and then you come in with Spectrier trying to clean up. That's your window, I think, to winning on Shark side.
Yeah.
Just because there's too many Spectrier answers for it to be anything but fodder to die, so that Slowbro can come in and click Trick Room again. I just don't
Right.
see a lot of utility for Spectrier here, just because there's two top tier counters. Like Como and Alolan Muck are literally two of probably the top 3 Spectrier counters in the meta, and he's got both.
Yeah, it's not a good time for Spectre. So let's see what happened in the game. And it was a Komodo sweep. Some justified Arcanine was kind of cute, but it got poisoned and then it just gets worn down too quickly.
Yeah,
Ursaluna
and I will say
came in
from
once to and it really crippled the Celesteela, but just a Komodo got set up and there's no outs on this team for it.
no, and we were looking. After this match, Shark did do a good thing picking up a Comfey. I think he got rid of. I can't remember what he got rid of.
Cleaver.
But Cleaver, yes, to fit on a Comfey, which is good. If you look at his team, he really didn't have an answer to Klinger, Soul, Como. It was just kind of the I'm going to lose to this type of scenario. Unless he just stayed on offense the whole time, but he wasn't able to. And so Como got its free turn, I think, in front of either the Spectrier or the Arcanine.
I think it was, it was something like that.
Or the Cobalion. Yeah, there was just it got its opportunity.
Cobalion, and it
That's
both
right.
switched as it Klinger sold, and then it had this throat spray too, and
yeah, that's where you needed a T-Wave Cobalion to deal with the Como trying to use it as a setup opportunity. So maybe that's something you could keep in mind for a potential playoff rematch. Either way, great win by Mike. He definitely did a lot of prep and discussion coming into the season, and he's certainly executing 2 weeks in.
Oh yeah. Alright, so next up we have the Hopes Peak Deoxys, coached by Joshua, going up against the Minnesota Mamoswine, coached by Omnic Fenrir. So here on Josh's side we have Steelix, Rillaboom, Porygon 2, Latios, Jellicent, and Mandibuzz.
Is there any offense there? It just feels like 4 super defensive mons.
I mean, you always have Lati and Axe Monkey.
Yeah. Sometimes that's all you need. And then on Omnic's side, we got the Zeraora, the Rotom Heat, the Mega Diancie, the Vaporeon, the Melmetal, and the Crocodile. So Omnic's got some pretty strong answers to some of the offensive pieces by Joshua. Rotom Heat plus Melmetal makes it really tough for Rillaboom to pop off. And then Latios doesn't have an easy time pushing through Vaporeon. Also has to deal with speed ties on the Mega Diancie, gets outsped by the Zeraora, and the Crocodile likes to run Scarf in draft, so Crocodile also threatens the Latios quite a bit. So Latios on paper clicks a button nicely against a lot of these mons, but Latios has a hard time seeing the field in a good scenario with Rotom Heat being about the only thing Latios wants to come in front of and feel like it's not getting pressured out. So that's the struggle for Latios, is it doesn't really have that clean turn of I'm on the field and I'm a threat.
Melmetal here has a lot of options to you can always toxic the jelly, or the Porygon 2 can't do anything because you're running Superpower. Between Superpower, Thunder Punch, and Double Iron Bash, you demolish the field.
Yeah, there's not a clean switch in. Although to be fair, Melmetal basically has to retreat on Jellicent every time. It can either Strength Sap or Will-O-Wisp. So Jellicent does force it out.
But you can get a status off on it, that's the thing.
Yeah. So if you get maybe a T-Wave or something. So Rocky Helmet Jellicent's actually a pretty strong Melmetal answer, because it doesn't even need Recover that much. It probably wants Recover, but it can mostly just Strength Sap.
Yeah. Alright, let's see how things turned out.
Yeah.
Okay, a 6 for the Zeraora. It's
basically
be a bulk up set. It's the only thing that
makes
sense. Blaze Kick, bulk up, close combat and plasma fists, and I bet it takes everything. After chip,
Yeah.
of course. Like the Steelix probably got chipped down.
It doesn't even need Blaze Kick all that much. I mean, it kind of
No.
wants it, but if Rillaboom takes enough chip, then Rillaboom just kind of gets knocked out. And all it really has to threaten with is Grassy Glide. So you whittle down Rillaboom, you take it out. If you don't have scars, it doesn't even need to be boosted that much. Just chip down Steelix, Rillaboom, and Zero Aura just sweeps, which basically looks like it did do.
Yeah. So all right, I dig it.
Clean
Good
win.
job. Good job, Omni.
Zero Aura's a great cleaner, showing its cleaning ability there.
Oh yeah. All right, next we have the Dutchland Dracos, coached by Martin, going up against the Detroit Dumpster Kittens, coached by HXRT. This logo too, man.
I do enjoy the. I feel like
The logos have been top tier.
Yeah, I feel like Litten's maybe getting a little unfairly bunched in with the rest. Is that Litten? Is that what it's called?
I don't know.
I can't actually
dude.
remember. Litleo? I don't know. The cat, Fire Cat.
Whatever. Where's my symbol? It's kind of like a kitty. Alright, anywho, on Martin's team we have the Heatran, the Keldeo, the Nidoking, Empoleon, Tapu Koko, and Zygarde.
And then on HXRT's team, we've got the Kyurem, the Tangrowth, the Starmie, the Swampert, the Mega Scizor, and the Togekiss. So Kyurem kind of smacks. There's literally zero switch-ins to Kyurem on Martin's team. There's nothing. I mean, Napoleon's the closest you get, but
because you can get Earth Power to be a 3-hit KO, and that's
and
kind of the best you got.
And all Kyurem needs is Freeze Dry and Earth Power. So if it's a subset, that's bad. Like there's no answer on Martin's team for a subset other than keeping Empoleon healthy enough to break the sub and then coming in with like Keldeo afterwards.
You only have like 8 Iron Heads to like, or Flash Cannons to break subs with. So like eventually.
And Kyurem can Roost all that. Like it substitute Roost,
that's
Earth Power,
so
Freeze
hard.
Dry. That's all it needs.
Like you've got plenty of ways to kill the Kyurem if you're in on it, but
yeah.
But if you play a little too passively here, or you struggle to get the Kyurem in, you've got things like Heatran can really mess up a Swampert's day, like
yes,
like Eruption can hurt.
Magma Storms,
Toxic.
Magma Storm into
Soul. Yeah.
Well, I just like the Magma Storm Solar Beam trap because you get it trapped with the Magma Storm and then you kill it with the Solar Beam.
Yeah, that's really
my
good.
favorite.
Coco has a pretty good matchup here too. You just got to get through the Tangrowth. If it's not AV, even Dazzling Gleam can start getting through once you get just like some rocks up. Same thing with.
I mean, if I'm Tangrowth here, I'm running AV Tangrowth in this matchup.
I would be
personally.
too, but I'm just saying if it's not like.
Yeah.
Because you may want defensive for Zygarde.
Yeah.
Swampert, well, Scizor Mega can kind of handle it. You just can't let it get too many boosts before Scizor gets on the field.
Yeah, if it's a coil set, Zygarde can be a real problem for Mega Scizor because Mega Scizor can't actually deal with a coil set.
You just got to get it in as it coils the first time and then like get the
Yeah.
+4. And then you can... It's probably going to cost you the Scizor, but you can manage it. I think. It's really close. Anywho, so that's kind of our takes on it. Let's see what happened. It's a 2-0, and the kills are kind of spread
It's a team
around.
performance. It's a team performance here.
Yeah, I think I remember parts of this match. Anyway, like the Starmie really kind of came through at the end. Just being the speediest thing on the field helps.
Oh, that's right. Wasn't it like a Scarf Starmie?
No, I think we thought it was Scarf, but it really wasn't. I think that was determined in post game that it was not Scarf.
Oh. I remember chatting about this one because I think HXRT had the chance to win it and he might have misplayed the end game a little bit.
And then he won it anyway. I think Martin had a chance to win it, and he kind of.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I'm mixing my games up. Yeah, Martin had, I think, a chance to win. It was a really close game, though.
So, some
well done
learning
by both
opportunities, yeah. And you love to see it. All right. So next, this is a match that was played in like week 0.
Like like 2 weeks ago.
Some traveling, yeah. So you have the Delaware Dodrios, coached by Hysterically, going against the Bleakwing Therians, coached by GDP. So here on the Dodrio side, we have Gliscor, Sylveon, Mega Gallade, Greninja, Lantern, and Miltank.
And then on GDP side, we've got the Landorus Therian, the Galarian Moltres, the Fini, the Infernape, I guess regular Venusaur? For some reason I thought it was Mega, but maybe not.
It's Mega Venusaur.
It must not Mega in the match.
Yeah, I don't think.
And then Registeel.
But it's supposed to be Mega Venusaur. So,
I mean, Gallade should be a button clicker in this matchup if you look at it. Like, there's not a switch in to Mega Gallade. Fini limited, but that's a limited number of switch-ins.
Lando can't, because you don't even get the -1 drop anymore.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so I mean, if I'm Mega Gallade here, I'm running like triple axles and headbutt, poison jab in close combat.
Conversely, setup Fini runs free here.
This is entirely true.
As long as you're running taunt. You're running taunt, and you can get through it all. Which,
yeah,
I'm going to just reveal the match here, because it's exactly what happened. But there were some really, really questionable calls with the Phoenix. It was a stored power Fini, and there's maybe a couple of stored powers too many into a Greninja.
I forgot about that, and the Greninja didn't. I think it had Gunk Shot, but it didn't get the poison.
Yeah,
I could be misremembering
at that point, but like I think the match was kind of decided. But in either case, yeah, it was just a setup Fini, and it hit that critical mass, and like that's sometimes that's it.
That's all it takes for Fini sometimes. Yeah, there's not a lot of answers here because Sylveon can manage the damage, but it can't really damage back well.
Yeah. All right, so here, this is our last match for Initiate of the week. We have the Eccleshell Entes, coached by Farmer Fox, going up against the British people by Very Chargebug. How British of a match.
Yes, entirely.
We have the Mega Lopunny, Blastoise, Entei, Landorus Incarnate, Chestnut, and Weavile for Farmer.
And then on Chargebug's team, we've got the Rotom Wash, the Indeedee, the Dracovish, the Halucha, the Rabombi, and the Ferrothorn. What's immediately apparent here is that Dracovish 2-hit KOs everything. If Chestnut takes like any chip.
Yeah.
Chestnut's like the one semi-switch into Dracovish, so if Chestnut takes chip, then it's over. I see an Indeedee, which means we got a Sweep Lucha set in play, with a pretty solid matchup overall for that.
Yeah, it's like Ice Shard's the really only check, because the Psychic Seed gives you Spadef, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Grass and Electric that give you defense. But like, as long as Rotom Wash is healthy, and you know, other than the Lopunny, Lucha's kind of the fastest thing on the field anyway. So it's got some play, but you know, there's enough, like between Entei and Weavile, you've got some pressure relief.
Yes.
But it's also a week you can probably Acrobatics, Dream Punch, and be just fine.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Dracovish is a bit scary here.
Especially if it's banded and it's a Web's Rabombi going into play here, because then your only answer is Landorus.
That's not a good place to be.
No.
Let's see what happens.
Oh,
he takes it. I'm kind of remembering this match now. I think Chestnut actually was a hero and just didn't die, like, because I think the Dracovish does like 30% into Chestnut, so it can always like synthesis, like with spiky shield too, and I think it just wore the Dracovish down. So by the time the Dracovish like was able to bring it down,
it was so chipped down.
The damage was done, and like the Indeedee went down real early. And
I believe it was like a turn 1, because it might have been Scarf Landorus clicking U-turn or something like that. The Indeedee stayed in when it probably shouldn't have stayed in on what was in front of it.
Yeah,
and then Halucha was not in a position to go for the sweep yet, so that I think derailed.
Yeah, and it just kind of took the plan down. And once the plan was, it was Mega Lopunny turn 1.
Oh, interesting.
So
I'm
you
that
turned
was a
out
high risk play
could
by
have
Farmer
easily been a
Fox.
Scarf Indeedee, yeah, but it worked out because then that kind of forces the Lucha in while there's still terrain if you're running the seed.
Yeah. So good win for Farmer Fox. Good overall team performance. Not even having to utilize the Landorus, even though that's really the real damage here. He's got some power. Goodness, you got a Mega Lopunny plus a Landorus combination. That's scary.
Yeah, it's a good team.
Yeah. Well played.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take a look at this is our featured match. This is between Tox and Old Man. So here on Tox's team, we have the Victini, the Excadrill, the Buzzwole, Primarina, Tyranitar, and Dragapult.
And then on Old Man's team, we've got the. Is this just regular Garchomp? I can't recall.
Yes, this is just regular Garchomp.
Is this Mega Gardevoir though?
Yes.
Mega Gardevoir, Skarmory, Thundurus, the Araquanid, and then the Scrafty. A pretty fun matchup.
I really like the Mega Guard into this team. I feel like, alright, so the Victini's a bit of a problem, but like that's it. Everything else just takes massive damage from you. You can't.
Yeah, you click Moonblast pretty freely, and even Victini only wants to switch into that like once, maybe.
Yeah, if you can get some rocks up, you'll feel even better, because like, if you force the boots, that's just a win, really.
Yep. Alright, we should see how it goes.
Okay, so we're going to run this at normal speed, and we're going to count down from 3 on go. 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, so it is a Victini lead up against the Garchomp. That's about as best as you could hope for Old Man. Yeah,
Yep.
good damage on the Earthquake.
That takes away the one switch in for Primarina. That's why Primarina really likes to run Balloon on against Garchomps, because
oh,
the
look at
Garchomp
this.
doesn't
Look at
really
this.
have
I like the switch in on a likely Sticky Web.
Yep.
And then it's sub too. So this is
Dragon Dance.
This is getting a little spooky here.
Scrafty doing its best here.
Let's see, what do we got? Another Dragon Dance. Good,
oh my gosh.
Good predict. And Phantom Force. Ooh, 70%. It's not enough. Well, it was sturdy anyway. And he gets the Toxic off. Okay, so you really
back to the Gardevoir. Avoid the Dragon Darts.
And here's the
problem
problem
with
with
Skarmory.
Here's the problem with Phantom Force. Like it.
And now what does he go? Scrafty here because Scrafty has the bulk to handle a Phantom Force.
Yeah.
Yep.
What super well played by Old Man there to manage what could have easily been just totally set up like sweeper.
Oh, absolutely. Scrafty activates an interesting item, but then goes straight down. Brings in Gardevoir, who pretty freely clicks Moonblast here. Or Hyper Voice, I should say. Yeah, I don't know why I've been saying Moonblast this whole time.
Dazzling Gleam.
Yeah, V-Create. Ooh,
that is a
good
band.
chip.
That is a banded
But there's
V-Create.
There's no answer now for... Oh. Okay.
It's just a switch, baby. Just a switch.
I like the switch. So now you Moonblast pretty freely here. Ah, God. Hyper Voice. Hyper Voice.
Yeah.
Teeny comes in.
Good.
I wonder if there's Shadow Ball on this Gardevoir. Guess not. Araquanid is gone, but Araquanid did its job. It set the webs.
Yeah, webs are up. They're not going anywhere until Excadrill hits the field.
Hyper Voice again. This is a good time for T-Tar to come in because it's... Oh, no, still Victini.
Okay.
Actually, still sacking things to V-Create.
Everything dies to
This is looking pretty bad.
Yeah, everything dies to a V-Create. You just need to keep the switches. But, like, you need something fast enough here to just not die to Garchomp.
Ah! That's actually good because the Teeny doesn't have boost, which has been confirmed.
Alright, close combat. Close combat.
I think it might be choice locked.
I think it is.
I know it was leftovers. It's not choice locked.
Oh, it's bulk up. Wait, you could have killed it.
Where's the close combat?
Or the Drain Punch. It's probably Drain Punch.
You might have bulked up too many turns there, bud.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Can't sub.
It
Can
does 50%. It wouldn't have done enough. Like even when roosting before any of the bulk ups.
Why'd you bulk up? And died to toxic. All right, this is
You
a
got
good
a
time
rapid spin. You got a
for.
rapid spin.
Ooh.
Okay.
Big miss on both sides there.
What?
It's not looking good.
You had no reason to switch the Skarmory out. Okay, that's fine.
Alright, so Skarmory is gonna roost here because that's all it can do.
Yeah.
Try to.
You need
I don't
what
think
you
it
need
has
to
a.
do. What you need to do is make sure you leave.
You're at 100%.
You're at 100% when this thing dies, which you're slower, so you can only click roost here until it switches out because you're of no danger of dying to V create.
This is actually really smart by because he can kill this with body press at any time. He's actually very wisely keeping full health.
Yeah.
To give himself a chance against the Victini.
And it's not even. This isn't even one of those like you can try and get to predict. If it goes down and you have less than 100%, no
you
good.
Lose. So Victini comes in and say eat 25% to rocks. It's going to lose another 16% on the V create. And then you're going to survive on the sturdy. You're going to roost here because that's your only play. Oh no, go straight for the body press.
You actually may even still be outsped with the half. So like no,
I still would.
The roost isn't gonna work. You would die to the next V create.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So you had to kill it with whatever move you have, and body press. Yeah, it's always gonna kill.
Skarmory does it. It's not every day you see a Skarmory beat a Victini one-on-one. I mean, there was obviously some help in there, but
yeah,
really nice
so
turnaround. And a really good reminder that Gardevoir does get Shadow Ball for Victinis, so you probably should carry Shadow Ball in those kind of matchups, so that when a Victini takes enough chip like it had, and you were definitely outspeeding it like
once it's chipped up here, even just like once you have the webs up too, like a CM on something switching in, and it's like, oh, okay, cool.
Yep.
Everything dies. But like,
really,
I appreciate the 5 KO Skarmory.
Oh, was it 5 KOs?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. It KO'd Dracopult, KO'd Buzzwole, KO'd Tyranitar. It KO'd everything besides the Primarina, didn't it?
Yep.
Yikes. That thing is going straight up on the leaderboard. Not every day you see Skarmory on the leaderboard.
Speaking
but we're about to see it, I think.
Leaderboards, let's take a look at the standings here. All right. Looking at the standings, we have 3 undefeated teams still. We have Jeg, Mike, and GDP. A lot of 1-1 teams, and of varying degrees of differential. Like you guys can see it on the screen. You can read it. I'm not gonna like list them all out. That's silly. We're gonna look at the kill leaders though, because Zera Aura in first place with 6 KOs. Awesome. It's one match. You love to see it. Skarmory in second place with 5 KOs. Awesome. It's one match. You love to see it. I love the early weeks because some weird things can kind of creep up. But let's see.
Something gets a sweep and then it's right at the top of the leaderboard. It's always fascinating.
Let's see what else we have up here. We have Volcarona. Yeah, it can be normal. Komo-o. Sure. Feeny. A little uncommon, but it's fine. Excadrill, totally normal to be up there. Slowking, no.
No. What is that doing here?
No.
No.
Mega Venusaur.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess. Mew, yeah, that's kind of normal. You can't see it, but the next 2, also 3 bonds, are Ursaluna and Tapu Koko, which is also fine, but that's kind of it. It's really funny to me.
I'm curious. I mean, the Skarmory is going to fall off just because Skarmory doesn't get opportunities like that every week to pick up KOs.
There's a chance it only picks up like 2 or 3 more KOs for the rest of the season.
And because of its 5 KO performance now, it might set on the leaderboard for a few more weeks. But we've seen this before. There was a week in a different league once where, oh my gosh, the mon I hate. What is its name? That stupid cotton ball. Why can I not remember the cotton ball's name?
Oh, Whimsicott?
No. The regenerator one. That's
Eldegoss.
I thought was Eldegoss. There was a league once where we saw an Eldegoss on the leaderboard with like 3 KOs, and then it never got a single other KO, and that was in the one. So that's kind of where I put the Skarmory right now. It's fun to
Yeah.
see it. Probably not going to stick unless they run like an Iron Defense Body Press set some week because the matchup's there for it.
Always possible. But,
Always possible.
All right, that wraps up Carrie for the week. So we're gonna move into Gary. So as I get transitioned over. Okay. We have kicking off the week is the St. Louis Charizards going up against the Midwestern Moltres. Here, let me reveal the mons. On Zardace's side, we have the Rotom Wash, the Enamorus, Weezing, Dragapult, Ursaluna, and Aromatisse. McGee stepped out for a second, so I'll do the other team. Midwestern Moltres, coached by Pro Shuriken. We have the Gudra, Hisuian, Landorus, Therian, Haunter, Klefki, and Fernape and Mew. And as I'm remembering as I say this, this is our featured match. So we're going to move right on past it. We'll come back to it later for a little more detail. So this will be the real first match we look at. It's the Washington Wynotties going up against Ohio. Just the whole state. Coached by Zeke and Frandy, respectively. So taking a look at what we have here, we have the Mega Altaria for Frandy, the Swellow, the Karkle, Tangela, Deoxys Speed, and Urshifu Single Strike. And
then on Zeke's team, we've got the Tapu Koko, the Seismitoad, the Urshifu Rapid Strike. I didn't realize he had double water. Meloetta, Kyurem, and Tornadus. Love the Karkle. That's a fun bring. I don't see all that much it does in this matchup.
Maybe there's some mons on the back end, but
yeah, it must be.
But like all the heavy hitters are here, like for Huiku Light's team. Just missing the Mega Scissor.
Oh wow, maybe there's a Scissor on the team that just doesn't have a good matchup. Who's to say?
I don't know. But all right, so the Mega Altaria kind of struggles a little bit against Seismitoad.
Does it?
Well,
doesn't it just click? If it's special, it can just click Hyper Voice.
That's true.
And if in this matchup, I see Urshifu Rapid Strike. He has Tango, maybe he doesn't need to use it that way. But I just see Mega Altaria clicking Hyper Voice pretty freely and continuously. It really helps deal with sub Kyurem as well because it can probably take a freeze dry from non-specs Kyurem and then KO a bind a sub with Hyper Voice.
Yeah. Swellow also has a pretty good time just clicking the boom.
Yeah.
Meloetta is like the only thing that can really be spec'd Spadef to handle these things.
Yeah, and I've seen and I've run AV Meloetta, so like there's a window for that to be useful here, especially with Deoxys Speed. Maybe you do actually have that kind of Meloetta set. Either way, I see a lot of offensive pressure from Frandy, and I don't see how, Kyurem breaks through. Obviously, that's the one breakthrough piece, but that's the only offensive piece that really breaks through.
Urshifu forces in like the Tangela. Like, I mean, if you know it's U-turn, you can get the Karkle in, but like that's a little spooky.
No, you got Mega Altaria. That resists stab. All you have for that is Ice Punch. But
you just have to make sure it's Mega Evolved first.
Yeah, so I draft Mega Altaria all the time, and so in these kind of matchups, I do like to Mega Evolve on turn 1. Either way,
just get it out of the way. Yeah.
You're really hoping for Koko and Kyurem to break through here to open up the game, which is not easy to do, but those are the pathways to victory, I think.
Yeah. All right, so let's take a look at what happened here. So 2-0. So Urshifu single strikes, gets some KOs. Deoxys picks up a KO. There's a KO that wasn't counted somewhere. It's probably just from some chip damage or something. Bot missed it, but it's like just a well-oiled team affair. And then I probably got to a point where, actually, what I think, unless this was week 1, Zeke set his own rain.
Oh, you might be onto something here.
So like the Tornadoes
And
goes down real quickly, but then Seismitoad just like goes ham for a few turns.
that's what happened. I forgot about that. Yeah, because then things like Deoxys and
Don't outspeed anymore.
Swellow aren't outspeeding, and then I think he had Sludge Wave for the Altaria, so he smacked that for really great damage.
Yeah,
You might be right about the Seismitoad play
yeah,
there.
that's what happened. Because I remember in the post game chat, his Seismitoad finally died. It was like Life Orb or something.
Yeah.
And his Urshifu comes in. Tangela already dead because it was like the Sludge Wave that caught it, or an Ice Beam.
Yeah.
And he's in rain, and Zeke does not click Surging Strikes. It's like Altaria was chipped. It's like I don't understand. Something's gonna die. That's like my one complaint. Everything else of the match was like totally fine, you know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's really clever and probably only works in a matchup where like Seismitoad can really go ham. Because he essentially was playing at 5v6 for a minute there, was like sacking the Tornadoes to get the rain up.
It worked. You know,
Yeah.
Tornadoes Prankster has some value, and that's a really good utility. You should see that a lot with Tornadoes on VGC doing that was Prankster Rain's Dancer things. So cool to see it in OU, not OU, but in draft.
Close enough. All right, next up we have the St. Louis Shroomish going up against the Waikato Chestnuts, coached by Helix Fossil and Liger, respectively.
Yes.
So here on Helix's side, we have the Delmise, Landorus, Heatran, Zeraora, Hatterene, and Mega Gyarados.
And then on Liger's side, we got the Mega Scizor, the Comfey, the Gliscor, the Cinderace, the Chestnut, and the Latias. We could spend a lot of time breaking down this match, but I know Liger just ended up trying to have fun with some of his sets in this particular matchup. So there's only so much to evaluate in what could happen, because Liger brought things like Belly Drum Chestnut, which I thought was he actually nearly could have won him the game if it had been Jolly Chestnut. It would have won him the game. Yeah.
But having said that, there may have been some defensive calcs for like the 10-mon squad and not the 6-mon where Adamant was needed. Like I sort of remember that, but in any case,
I believe this was Scarpy Train
itself,
clicking Eruption.
Yeah, it clicked Eruption, broke some things, and then Mega Gyarados gets set up, and nothing's really wants to take the waterfall here, except Chestnut, but it was a Belly Drum, so cool.
Yep. Good game from Helix, bringing some fun things with offensive Heatran is underrated and for some reason doesn't show up in draft as much as I think it should. But it's always a menace every time it pops.
I think it needs to show up a lot more often. Okay, next up we have the Phoenix Solgaleos, coached by DD, going up against the Melbourne Reshurims, coached by Edster. So here on Phoenix's side, we have the Spectrier, Excadrill, Gallade, Tapu Fini, Zapdos, and Porygon.
And then on Edster's side, we got the Heliolisk, the Noivern, the Rillaboom, the Mega Gardevoir, the Weavile, and the Nidoqueen. Porygon is actually a pretty fun bring as a Nidoqueen answer, because it doesn't handle, from experience, Porygon barely handles Nidoking, but Nidoqueen it handles fine, especially because Nidoqueen usually isn't full offensive. It might run bulk sets or run Black Sludge over Life Orb. So Porygon is actually pretty well off checking Nidoqueen, and also manages things like Heliolisk and Noivern well as a result. Especially if it's running, the Bolt Beam set, because Noivern's not liking that, Nidoqueen's not liking that. Heliolisk isn't bulky, so it eventually gets whittled down by Ice Beam spam.
And I like the Spectre of this match too. Like, Weavile's not a super great pursuit user because it's so frail.
Yes, and it's very vulnerable to Will-O-Wisp, and that just takes it out of play.
Yeah, and with Mudshot, like Heliolisk isn't all that great either. Like, it's not the check you want it to be. Like, if you had some real bulk on it, it wouldn't care about some weak base power move. But the Spectre is looking pretty good too, like as a breaker more than a cleaner. But
Yeah, like a spec set is actually pretty fun here because Weavile only gets one switch in, and if Weavile isn't Scarf, Weavile gets killed. Heliolisk, if it gets caught by a Spec's Mudshot, is pretty much gone, and then everything else just can't really handle that kind of pressure. So Spectrier can pop off in a matchup like this.
Yeah, and then the Zapdos is always keeping Rillaboom in check. Spadef one may even be able to keep Heliolisk in check. I'm not sure on the calcs on that. Or you do some. Oh no, Excadrill can't because it can use Surf. Always forget.
Yeah, you kind of have to dance around. I mean, you can bait the Heliolisk into making some wrong clicks. Like you can bait out a Surf as you switch into like Mega Gallade because he doesn't really have to switch into Mega Gallade. So, and it outspeeds Heliolisk by 1 point. So you can take some light chip on a Mega Gallade on a predicted Surf and use that as a window to KO something. So, or just go to Porygon to be safe.
Yeah.
Either way, there's options for DD.
Porygon's always able to switch in, take a hit, maybe recover and get out. Like, other than the Rillaboom, which Zapdos is always switching into Rillaboom anyway. So
Gardevoir with Psyshock is the real menace here. He doesn't really have any answer to Psyshock.
No, Excadrill. Let's see what happened. It's a 3-0 for Phoenix, and yeah, Gallade just clicks buttons by the looks of it. Some counterplay from the Rillaboom to pick up 2 KOs. One of them, I think, was on the Feeny itself. Like, it just clicked Grassy Glide as like the terrain gets reset. So yeah, there was an end game where if you squinted, it looked like Rillaboom could clean the field at the end, but with Feeny able to switch in, reset the terrain, there was never any real hope.
Yeah, I think the Excadrill went down to like a good surf call by Heliolisk.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. So he was making some plays, but Mega Gallade and Zapdos just pressured too much. And Spectrier probably could have cleaned up if Mega Gallade hadn't. And didn't get the opportunity.
So very cool. Good job, guys. Next up, we have the Chelsea Chestnuts, coached by Waka, going up against the District Darmanitans, coached by Iris or Beats. And this was a forfeit match, just wasn't able to happen in time, so Waka takes the match.
Takes the W.
Alright, next we have the Vancouver Pavilions, coached by Soul, going up against the Lean Lanoons, coached by Rock. So here on Soul's side, we have the Mega Diancie, Whimsicott, Zapdos Galar, Ferrothorn, Victini, and Blastoise.
And then on Rock side, we got the Greninja, the Thundurus Therian, the Nidoking, the Mega Mawile, the Terrakion, the Slowbro.
All right, this is actually a pretty fun matchup because, like, Diancie can really put in work, but you just got to get the initial predicts right. Of, like, if you're in, you have Kill Threat on something, like, say, a half-health Nidoking. What are they actually going to switch into? And like, so it's a bit of that game. Like, it has the potential to get a kill every turn.
Yes.
But like, it's hard to switch in this match. Like, you can't.
Your only answer is AV Slowbro, but in my opinion, Slowbro doesn't even want to be that because it just wants to click Trick Room and go into Mega Mawile and try to claim kills. Because Fire Fang, Play Rough, Knockoff
Ferrothorn
takes care of like everything.
Ferrothorn could be Pharaoh Seed this match for all you care. What it's gonna do. Zapdos struggles against the Slowbro, I feel.
Yeah, Slowbro's actually and the Thundurus too, for that matter. Thundurus has the speed because it's the 101, isn't it?
It just can't switch in. But like, you don't really have any switch-ins either, so.
This is a matchup where Rock can't play defense, and so he just needs to get into offensive mode as soon as possible.
Yeah, just click. Because you like, what's your Slowbro is a decent enough Victini switch in, I guess. Except for you do have, if you get caught with a Banded Bolt Strike, you could be in big trouble.
Yeah.
Right, so let's see what happens here. Yeah, it's a 3-0 for Soul.
With the Diancie doing exactly what we thought it would, which is just kind of smacking because there's not good switch-ins to Moonblast. Moonblast Earth Power just kind of decimates everything.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go to the next match. I'm gonna step away for 1 minute. Oh, I spoiled it a little bit. Introduce the teams, talk about them for a minute. I will be right back.
Yep. Alrighty. So on the left side, we got the Kansas City Cleavers, coached by egotistical Elekid. On the right side, we got the Denton Zorark, coached by Spirit Union. Elekid brought the Latios, the Volcanion, the Tapu Lele, the Zygarde, the Celesteela, and the Florges. And then on Spirit side, we've got the Garchomp, the Mega Wizard, the Corviknight, the Vikavolt, the Decidueye, and the Chansey. Pretty interesting matchup here. The Zygarde looks pretty threatening, although a bulky Decidueye can probably keep that in check. Chansey helps manage the Lele Latios a lot, although Psyshock spam can get pretty overwhelming for too long. Mega Wizard's pretty interesting in this matchup. If it can push through the Florges off of a good like Weather Ball or Fire Blast on a switch in, there really isn't a lot of switch ins left because it has Scorching Sands for Volcanion. It has Dragon Pulse for the Latios and the Zygarde. And really, that's all it needs to pressure hard here. Webs gets pretty interesting with the Vikavolt, just to keep the Lele in check and the Zygarde in check. Maybe a Dragon Dance set. Also pressures the Latios out with things like Bug Buzz. Overall, pretty even matchup. Garchomp can go for Sweep Mode if it can get a chance to Scale Shot, although it doesn't see how that happens very easily since Florges and Lele like to come in on Garchomp. Just like Primarina, I really do think something like a Air Balloon Florges can end up shutting down things like Garchomp, because Garchomp may just want to be Swords Dance, Earthquake, Scale Shot, Stealth Rock. It may not even see the purpose. It probably wants a Fire Fang for the Celesteela, so maybe you deal with Florges that way.
All right, we're back.
We're back. I think we've covered all the details of the match, unless you had any final thoughts. Really a pretty even affair from both sides. Some decent pressure pieces. Not clear win cons in terms of, this mod just kind of goes to town. But definitely some avenues for things to pop off if a couple of pieces are weakened or removed.
All right, then let's see what happened. And
yep.
Megazord Y.
Yeah, Megazord Y does. Oh, that's right.
Dragon Pulse.
No, I knew it had Dragon Pulse, but what it had here that was super spicy was Flame Charge.
Oh,
because
right.
Flame Charge got it faster than the Latios, got it faster than maybe a Scarf Lele. So it just needed Flame Charge plus Weather Ball plus Dragon Pulse, and then I think it had Scorching Sands with a Volcanion, if I recall correctly.
Yep.
And that, it really only needed 3 moves.
Everything.
And then, the unfortunate thing I think Alec had probably discovered in this matchup, or just on his team in general, is he has a ground type without rocks and a steel type without rocks. So setting rocks up against the Mega Wizard should be a top priority, and he just doesn't have it available from some of his top typings for that move.
Yeah.
But yeah, fun match. It's always fun to see. Mega Wizard's, one of those mons that's always priced highly, but not often drafted just because it's difficult to build around him well. I don't know whether or not this is a good Wizard team, but Spirit certainly showed why it's scary.
It was pretty decent. We talked about it because the Corviknight's always going to be able to keep hazards off the field for the Zard.
This is true.
If it costs you the Corviknight to keep him off the field permanently, you'll make that trade like 9 times out of 10 for a Zard team.
And looking at this, I guess I should have noticed. Corviknight pivots, Vikavolt pivots, Decidueye pivots, Chansey pivots. Those are all Wizard opportunities to button spam.
Yeah,
so
Spirit's team's pretty good for that.
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna pop into our featured match. This is between Zardace and Pro Shuriken. I've kind of already introduced the teams, but we'll reintroduce them. Sorry, Zardace, your name got cut off a little bit there. Next week. So here we have the Rotom Wash, the Weezing, the Dragapult, the Enamorus, Ursaluna, and Aromatisse.
And then on Pro side, we've got the Hoodra, a fun-looking Haunter here, an Infernape, a Landorus, a Klefki, and a Mew. From what we can tell based off of team preview is it seems like Haunter's trying to deny stab from Ursaluna. Although
That's
I
about all it
don't
can do.
know, because it doesn't have Grass Knot as far as I recall, so it doesn't really
That's
have
Energy Ball.
Oh, it does have Energy Ball. I take it back. So it has some way to do some damage to Ursaluna, but it's so fragile. It's so fragile that we were joking that Facade from Ursaluna could probably still kill it, even though it has no effect. Haunter really just doesn't have any sort of defensive utility other than trying to catch moves with immunities.
So let's see what happens. We'll just get into it. 3, 2, 1, go. So we have a Namorous going up against Suing Gudra. Yeah, you got to bail out. So hopefully you're faster than the Hudra. Yeah, the switch out probably implies that. And
Haunter's trying to catch a move, and then Haunter's just gone.
Good Ice Punch. Good Ice
Punch. So the problem with Haunter in this matchup is that, of course, Ace wants to carry Ice Punch for the Landorus, and so predicting a Landorus switch in, you get caught by an Ice Punch that maybe you weren't expecting.
So you tank the Draco here. I'm not a big fan of that.
No, and I think we get to some over predicting here where.
He
has a rest.
All right,
rest is interesting.
Do you have Sleep Talk?
Because that's the play if you have Sleep Talk.
No. Okay.
No. Not as exciting.
Flare Blitz does a lot. I don't think this is a fully defensive Weezing. Just call it a feeling.
Yeah. Good pain slip play.
Yep. So we get back into the Ursaluna.
I'm really disappointed that it's not. I mean, I get why it's four moves slotted here because it doesn't. Actually, I don't know if it wants Ice Punch. Although if it didn't have Ice Punch, then it actually does get walled by Haunter, which would have been funny.
Yeah.
So.
So the acid spray is coming in. I like the heal bell to wake up the. I always forget about that combo for heal bell mons. Like if you're gonna do rest.
Yeah.
Sets. Okay.
Right, Ursaluna's back in action.
Here's the Ice Punch.
Landorus.
Oh no.
No. Gets caught.
I mean, it would have been a good time for a Facade. Like.
I think he overpredicts it.
Yeah.
He should have Facade on that turn. Yeah, so his Ursaluna's getting. I think he's overpredicted on the Ursaluna rather than just attacking what's in front of him. He got a good predict on the Haunter, which I think really threw off.
The rest, like maybe overset his competence.
Yeah.
If you have Infestation with the Gudra, like this is just gone. Oh, no
Sludge Wave. Actually, pretty good of him to withhold on the Sludge Wave to try to not give away the Sludge Wave play. So Tease comes in again thinking it's just some acid spray spam, and gets entirely obliterated by it. So Klefki's in here. Klefki
just play rough. It's at 50%. Oh man, and then
it's pretty funny.
Yeah, and then the Prankster T-Wave, too strong.
I don't love Klefki in Draft, but it is definitely showing its value in this matchup here.
Hey, look at that. The Contrary came in handy.
I don't know if he has Play Rough or not.
No, it doesn't matter anyway. Yeah, at this point, I think you've lost too much. It's like all up to the...
Actually, this Weezing can still win this match depending on what the Mew set is. As wild as that is.
Yeah. Like, how often does Mew just run regular Psychic? Keeping T-Spikes
as a Mew
off
user,
is like super
important. You need that. Keeps your Mew in play for whatever the Mew is trying to do.
Yeah, sure.
Probably a Hudra switch in here.
Shuriken's really just been outplaying Zardes. Ooh,
rough miss.
That's actually a really big deal.
Yeah, because that takes Landorus out of play, gets it back to even playing field. Forces a defog here, which gives Hudra a pretty free turn because you don't really have a switch in for the Hudra. You sack your Enamorous because you have... Just so you can get in with the Dracopult.
Maybe it can kill. Yeah, okay, it can kill. I couldn't tell how bulky it was. Oh, it's Life Orb, though.
Interesting.
Uh-oh.
Dragon Dance Mew.
Okay, yeah.
Is a concern. Ooh, it had Power Whip too. Holy moly.
but I don't think it'll matter. It just needs to hit the power whip, and yeah, Psychic Fangs will take it out, whatever. It's Poltergeist.
Poltergeist.
Yeah, and then they'll just clean up here.
You know,
if you would have gone into the wheezing, you didn't have to lose the other your pult. Or I guess
this is true.
You still would have lost it because the music.
No, you just need. If you proc a poison here, you're actually in business because then Mew would have died, Pult would have come in, and you would have had a window. Although Klefki probably just paralyzes you and lose that way.
Yeah. Okay.
Overall, though, these guys get to play each other quite a bit. They're kind of somewhat of rivals, so it was a fun showdown between them yet again in another season. So good matches all around. I really thought the Hudra was a good play. I thought the Haunter was a terrible play, so it balances out to a pretty solid performance.
Yeah, it was a fun match. It was a fun match. All right, let's take a look at the standings right now. So not too much to see on the left side. We have a lot of 3-2-0 teams, 3-0-2 teams, and then a bunch of 1-1 teams.
Yeah, there's no separation from the pack going on yet. I think week 3 and beyond we'll start to see that.
Let's take a look at the kill leaders, though, because this is a little more interesting. We have Charizard Mega Y. Cool.
Pretty much entirely off of this performance because he got
Mew,
6 of his 7.
Mega Gyarados, Blastoise, Mega Glade, Mega Deontay. Heliolisk, very cool. Tyranitar, very cool. Hisuian Gudra, very cool. And Ursaluna. We have 2 other 4-kill mons in the Greninja and the Seismitoad, which are just deserve honorable mentions.
Yes.
But this is kind of it for Gary. Like, there's not too much else to see here.
No.
These are all normal-ish mons.
Heliolisk. Wizard should... As a Heliolisk can be a pretty solid cleaner, especially because it likes to run Scarf sets. So Heliolisk can be a really reliable killer on the right team, and I think probably finding that role on Edster's team.
Yeah.
But yeah, good Burke Gary. I like the close division we have so far. No runaways. No one's entirely out of it yet, although some folks need to probably get it.
Well, they'll figure it out. Okay.
Oh, I'm sure.
So we're gonna pop back over to our recaps, and we're gonna switch over to Larry, the master himself. So we actually start off with your match here. The Bluetown Puikamuku's going up against the Cleveland Clamperls. So let's see what we got. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I brought the Dracovish. Surprise, surprise. It's like my one KOing piece. The Rotom Heat, the Hippowdon, the Mega Gardevoir making its debut, the Tornadus Therian, and the Amogus.
And for Yahoodles, we have the Mega Mile, Thunderous Therian, Lycanroc Dusk, Barraskewda, Azumarill, and Celesteela. So this is an interesting matchup in that it's like pseudo rain. Like you can definitely have ways to set it, but like the Barraskewda.
I mean, he has a Politoed he didn't bring.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. I forgot about the Politoed.
I fully expected Politoed, to be honest, because it has Water Absorb as another ability, which helps to manage Dracovish, especially if you run like a rest set with Rocky Helmet.
But Celesteela ain't stopping Dracovish, especially since you can always do like Banded with Sand Rush. Like it's a little weaker as an attack, but like I think it's still stronger than the Scarf version. I have the math right on that.
Probably.
Because it's like 50 versus 30%. I'm not sure. But the Rotom Heat as well for the Maw Isle.
Yeah, that's specifically why the Rotom's here is because I just don't have a
Barraskewda, and it'll stop.
That was what Amogus was there for.
Offensive Azumarill too.
So if I recall correctly, I have 3 helmets here.
Hippowdon, Amogus, Torn.
And I think the Torn, yeah. I just kind of was like, I don't know what to... No, the Torn I think is AB, actually. No, actually I don't know. No.
In any case, I think eventually the defensive backbone for Yahoodles will break, or Celesteela gets set up and kind of runs away with it.
Yeah, this is a match that's not really built to last long. It is a 20 turn or less type of ordeal here we're really looking at.
Yeah, and you take it 3-0 with Dracovish. I think I remember eventually Dracovish's Rens just started to break through.
Yeah, there was a couple of pieces to get out of the way for it to close out. One of the things was he was clever. He brought a Sash Lycanroc with Endure and then Endeavor, or like Sash Lycanroc with Endeavor. So I had got a really good call going into Amoonguss on the Endeavor play, and the Rocky Helmet took out the Lycanroc, and thanks to Regenerator, I was able to get some health back up.
Yeah.
But because Amoonguss was my Barrascuda answer and it went down to a really low percentage, I ended up having to start sacking things to Barrascuda. So he was able to get some momentum like that, and my Rotom Heat eventually. Oh no, it's sorry the whole match. I'm thinking of a different interaction with a while. I think Azumarill as well was able to spam buttons. Overall, it really came down to getting Sand in play, and that saved me.
Yeah. Alright, so the next match up is mine, Kinky Kartanas versus Columbus Gallade. This was a forfeit match because it just wasn't able to happen, so I do take it. Anywho, we'll move
Geo's
on.
path to victory.
We have the Miami Delphox. Just following your lead, brother.
That's how you do it. I only had to win 3 matches last season. That's all was needed to win the whole thing.
So up next we have the Miami Delphox, coached by Fac Luigi, going up against the Thunders from Down Under, coached by Sparky. This is also another rivalry match, if you will.
Yes.
D-Gen special. This is the second time Blacephalon's not coming up in the sprites, but that whatever. So here we have the Miami Delphox's side: Sylveon, Kyurem, Empoleon, Cinderace, Zapdos, and Mega Gallade.
And then on Sparky's side, we got the Ursaluna, the Clefable, the Blacephalon, the Noivern, the Slowking, and the Jolteon. It seems pretty clear to me that he wants to get into Trick Room, Facade, Earthquake spam here. Fact doesn't really have much counterplay in terms of defensive play. It's just hard switches to try to bait out the Facade or the Earthquake and resist and buy enough turns. There are some priority moves to play with, like Sucker Punch, Aqua Jet, spoiler alert, on Empoleon, even Quick Attack on Sylveon, but Ursaluna is bulky and those moves aren't particularly strong by the mons that are using them, so
right.
They can only threaten so much with those attacks, and if Ursaluna is able to stay healthy enough, then it eventually just gets to be overwhelming. And what better way to keep it healthy and safe than with Wish Teleport?
Yeah, I figured out what was going on with this. Watch. Wait. There you go.
An A.
It was spelled wrong. There's an E.
That'll do it.
So yeah, as was described, Fac just went super hard offense, and Trick Room Ursaluna said, "No, we don't do that here." And it really seemed like this could be a play. Like watching these two play, it was like this could be a playoff rematch. So let's just go in easy here, and what happens, and hopefully the rest of the season will make up for it.
Yeah, I think Fac probably has this gives Fac an opportunity to look at a better solution for Ursaluna and a potential playoff rematch. Because he brought priority. He had Sucker Punch, he had Aqua Jet after a Swords Dance on Empoleon, he even had Quick Attack Sylveon. Ursaluna survived all of those attacks and was able to
I've talked to Fac about it. I think Sparky knows it too, but I don't want to reveal too much because it's not my place too. I think he had some ideas for the Trick Room, but he just didn't want to do it and blow it before playoffs.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing here is if you're playing Ursaluna and there's a Slowking or Slowbro on the team that's going to set Trick Room and want to teleport, you got to have answers to that. If you want to confidently keep that kind of, oh no, Trick Room teleported into Ursaluna, I have to sack 3 mons now. You need to have some counterplay to that. So no surprise, he probably has some ideas brewing, and probably for the best, he's saving those till playoffs.
Yeah, I would think so. Okay. Coming up next, we have Heat Heat Sets Inc. Sorry, I'm just now like looking at the big logo. Incorporations.
Incorporations? Yeah.
Incorporations.
Oh, incorporation.
No, it's Incope Ratio S or Ratio NS. I mean, ratio is something the kids say. I don't know what it means. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like I see people post it in Discord. They're like ratio. I'm like, okay, I don't know what that means.
Either way, tell us if this is a misspelling or if there's something here. We would definitely be interested in.
Anywho, Heat Sets Inc. is coached by Jadon. He hasn't said.
Jadon? Yeah, I don't know.
Going up against the LA Nido Kings, coached by Black. So let's take a look at the mons that were brought. Here we have the Garchomp, Necrozma, Mega Kangaskhan, Roserade, Zapdos Galar, and Togekiss.
And then on Black side, we got the Aerodactyl, Mega, and the Nidoqueen, the Vaporeon, the Kartana, the Mew, and good old Raikou.
So, like, Mega Aerodactyl has a good time this match. Like, maybe struggles a little bit to get in, but it can kind of come in on the Rose. But like, if it gets set up, like, it's having a good time.
Yeah, if I'm Jadon here, I want to get Rocks up so it takes 25% chip, and then I have the a decent position to try to.
A super bulky Necrozma can give it some issues after Rocks are up too, because you're forced to take that damage.
Yeah, and then Kangaskhan has Sucker Punch.
Yeah, even Garchomp, like a defensive one with a Rocky Helmet, like, and Aerodactyl's gonna kill itself trying to take you down.
Yeah, so Aerodactyl could definitely sweep here, especially if it's a Dragon Dance set, because then things like Scarf Garchomp or Scarf Zapdos aren't anymore.
Yeah, Kartana has a pretty fun game, honestly. Like,
yeah, Roserade is kind of the best. Jadon really doesn't have
stop all that much, like Smart Strike.
Yeah, Jadon's best hope here is just staying on offense because he doesn't really have solid defensive answers to a few of these mons. But
I can see Mew going both super offensive and super bulky and being just fine. Like, the CP set looks pretty scary.
Yes. So there's a lot of pressure here from Black on lots of ways he can win, and Jadon, I think, has limited options here to keep it in control.
And yeah, looks like Kartana is probably doing some sweeping with Raikou in it.
I remember the Raikou being a calm mindset. That's how he ultimately won. I think this is still pretty close.
I think the Mega Kangaskhan proved to be some big issues because it was like a wish set with a little bit of offense. Maybe.
Yeah, I had like Body Slam for status move, so status thing,
and I think that really started to become a problem until he eventually got it broken down. So like, the match was pretty close.
It was very close match, and I think if Roserade had been clicking Sludge Bomb, because what ultimately happened in the end game was Raikou started Calm Minding, and then they got to 1 or 2 Calm Minds, and it could sub on Roserade without Roserade breaking the sub. And I think there were some opportunities for Roserade to Sludge Bomb there, or some other options.
And you just gotta hope for the poison.
Yeah, because if it gets poison, then Raikou doesn't subset sweep anymore, and you can manage that. Because it's a
little bit of playing for RNG, but that happens.
Yeah, but the Zapdos was the Kartana. I don't believe was Scarfed. I think that came into play, and the Zapdos was Scarfed. So if you could keep Raikou from not being behind a sub when Roserade goes down, then Zapdos wins. And ultimately, I think that's what happened. Is Raikou was able to stay behind that sub, and Zapdos could not revenge kill sweep.
All right, next up we have the Lake Michigan Leafeons, coached by Spike, going up against the King Choodle, coached by Detective Butters. So here on Gudra's side, we have, or on Spike's side, it's getting late. We have the Gudra, Gastrodon, Mega Scizor, Tyranitar, Glisker, and Infernape.
And then on Butters' side, we got the Landorus, the Scizor, the Porygon Z, the Zarude, the Galarian Weed, the Slowbro.
So, like, looking at this matchup, Landorus has like a great time. Psychic does a lot to Glisker. AV Gudra can kind of take an Earth Power. Kinda.
Yeah.
Mega Scissor doesn't want to switch into Earth powers. T-Tar laughs as he dies. Infernape dies. Maybe Gastrodon can. I'm not super familiar with like the calcs there.
It's pretty bulky. I don't know. I know it has Ice Beam, obviously, to try to get that. Gliscor is a better answer to Landorus than you could. Has Ice Fang as an option. Has knockoff.
Yeah.
Spadef set with Toxic Orb can keep it alive.
You probably
so.
need Protect to force out the extra 12%. That's kind of where my intuition tells me it should be. But like, so like, if you can manage the Landorus though, you've got like pretty cool answers to things. Like Zarude really struggles to get through Mega Scissor. Like Infernape just kind of smacks. Like you can even go like a special set here with like Nasty Plot, Flamethrower, Grass Knot for the Slowbro. +2 Grass Knot should KO. Mach, I don't know. Fighting move for the Porygon. I don't know. I don't think Infernape gets Orosphere, so you may be limited to either Vacuum.
He has to run Focus Blast.
Or Focus Blast
is
for the.
Yeah, so that's always the issue. Is
But it's Porygon Z, so I don't know. +2 Flamethrower is gonna do a lot. Vacuum Wave may even KO it, but like
+2, 100%.
So Infernape has a really good matchup here. Tyranitar,
there is an interesting role here because Slowbro wants to come in on Infernape sometimes to handle like a stab move. So if you turn into Tyranitar and you're like banded T-Tar, then all of a sudden you're pursuit trapping a Slowbro, and that's not a good time for Slowbro.
Gastrodon though, like also comes in pretty freely on the Scissor, and even the Porygon Z. And you know,
if I'm Gastrodon here, I'm running Sticky Hold, keeping my leftovers.
Oh yeah, like these are mine. You can't have them, or your Rindo Berry if that's the way you want to do it. But I don't think so because Zarude's so tanky. You're never really threatening it.
No, and just go into Scissor every time. Zarude has nothing for it.
Although having said that, this is a 3-0 for Spike.
Really big Ice Beam freeze on the Zarude early game.
Yeah.
So Gastrodon actually did 1v1. Yeah, it 1v1 the Zarude.
And when that happens, it's like, oh, okay, GG, go next. There's not much that can really be done, and that kind of is the fate of the game. Is Zarude just didn't do anything, and it's a weird Porygon set too. It was like lefties and seemed pretty bulky, but it was also switching into things like Gastrodon, which can't hit hard. Even if you run like specs, it still can't hit hard. So I think, I don't know.
Spike probably could have won the game a lot earlier because he had a Swords Dance set on the Mega Scizor, but the problem he ran into
instead of like
because he ran into the problem. Yeah, if he had Bug Bite, he probably wins this game much earlier because then Slowbro goes down because Bullet Punch plus Bug Bite destroys everything. And it was confirmed fairly early that the Galarian Weezing wasn't carrying up a Berry. It was Black Sludge. So. You know, I think +2 on Mega Scizor is enough to Bullet Punch through any Weezing. I could be wrong.
It probably depends on your spread. Like if you're
the Mega Scizor may need to be full
attack,
offense.
Then it may need to be full offense. I don't know. I think there's some wiggle room if the Weezing's not full defense. If there's like some Spadefs sprinkled in, it's tough to say.
Yeah, I'm actually a little curious. I'll check while we're still talking through.
Yeah, but we're gonna move on to the next match. So that was actually a really fun match despite the freeze, so I'd check it out. Next is our featured match between Alberta Surge and Republic City Fire Ferrets, so we're just gonna move on. And last and certainly not least, we have the Sunset Soul Rocks, coached by Tides or Gradual, going up against the Arkham City Delibird, coached by A12. Let's take a look at what we have. Here we have Weavile, Megalopunny, Registeel, Donphan, Latios, and Rotom Wash.
And then on A12 side, we got the Terrakion, the Torterra, the Deoxyspeed, the Articuno, the Mega Slowbro, and the Alolan Muck. Something that's really interesting here, especially when you look at his other mons, is he brought Articuno. Articuno is a interesting mon when it shows up in matchups. It's pretty defensive. The one thing that really always screws it over is it has a terrible typing. Ice is just not good defensively.
No.
But if your team doesn't make you vulnerable to rock attacks. Like if people don't have the inclination to carry rock slide, or they have a really defensive steel type with weak steel attacks, then all of a sudden Articuno has some utility as a pressure staller defensive piece.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, I didn't consider all of that, and like if you
no,
go back,
the only reason I've considered this is because I've lost to this. That's how you learn anything in draft. Is you lose to
I mean,
something and you're
I
like, oh
don't,
wait.
I don't know which one it was in, but A12 talked about it a bit too in some chat in our server.
Yeah.
But like, so Weavile because of that has like a tough game. Like
Yeah, and it has the Mega Slowbro too, where you can't knock it off.
yeah, it gets a lot tougher to deal with. Like you're almost forced into like Night Slash or Beat Up, but you don't want to run Beat Up right off the bat unless you run into like a Rocky Helmet Torterra or something stupid like that. Something A12 would do and get away with. But you have other.
No. Beat Up's safe. Beat Up doesn't make contact. That's why Beat Up's popular.
Right.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, you don't want to necessarily do that into a Terrakion and give it
Yes, +6
right off the bat.
Scarf close combat +6. That's how you lose a game quickly.
Yeah. But there's some play too. Like the Rotom Wash is kind of forced to stay alive to make sure you can always deal with Mega Bro, because Latios may not be able to without a Calm Mind, and at that point maybe you're playing into a Calm Mind Mega Bro.
Well, and the problem with Latios too is Latios has to basically be a baton pass set, or it just gets trapped by a low Muck and KO'd. So you're really restricted on your Latios play, because you can't just come in on Mega Bro and be like, what you gonna do now? Because it just switches to Alola Muck. If you click Thunderbolt, who cares? Alola Muck tanks that all day, and then all of a sudden your Latios is getting pursuit trapped. So it's really tough on Latios to pressure the Slowbro, because it can basically not touch the field while Alola Muck's alive.
Yeah, so that just makes it extra hard. I don't know what he has in the back, which may help, but let's see how this match went.
Yeah.
It is a 3-0 for the Delibirds, and look at that. Actually, 1 KO for every Mon.
Look at that team effort. You'll love to see it.
When we're done recording this video, I'm going to actually ping A12 and say, hey, I just noticed this. Was this planned? It's so stupid. But it looks like just a clean team effort from A12, and there's actually quite a bit of discussion in the post-game chat about this and that, and like no way to really relieve yourself from the Terrakion, and not sure how much I believe that, but anywho, so that's the match.
Yeah, it was a good win. Like I said, I'm really happy to see low tier Mons show up and be useful utility Mons. So Articuno and Torterra both had their roles in this matchup, and they executed them pretty well.
Yeah,
so happy to see it.
All right, so this is our final match. This is between Cloud9 and Hoiku. And here on Cloud9's side, we have Hoiku's Mon, the Tabu Koko. We have a Lando T, the Sneasler, Ferrothorn, Mega Blastoise, and Galarian Moltres.
And then on Huitku's side, we've got the Zeraora, so fake Tapu Koko, the Chandelure, the Tapu Fini, the Deoxys Defense, a Mega Pinsir, and then a Serena to wrap it up. Mega Pinsir's pretty interesting here. If you take care of the Koko, it kind of actually cleans up.
Even then, like, you just need to get it down to like 40% and you're...
Yeah, after Swords Dance Quick Attack, it just KOs it.
Yeah. So that's pretty neat about it. You still gotta watch out for the Lando. It can tank things for a while, but it will get worn down. That's it for that. Scarf Lando's a menace this match.
Yeah, if you're only you don't really. I mean,
you have no.
You can do a lot.
Mons.
No, a Deoxys Defense gets caught in a U-turn spam for too long and it dies. So
because
you're super restricted.
Yeah, if you don't have T-Wave or something, the Galarian Moltres sets up on the Deoxys defense pretty easily. But,
I mean, you basically have to start getting a lot of calls right on on the Landorus to win out that one.
All right, so let's see what we got here. 3, 2, 1, go. So we have a Coco lead going up against the Chandelure. I'm gonna guess we have just a straight switch, Fire Blast. Okay.
Ooh,
So that
really
may be,
rough miss,
may be
actually.
Scarf. Yeah.
Good on Wheat Cooper sticking in on the U-turn. Pretty predictive play that Chandel. Interesting call. I think he only can do that play once. Eventually, Claude just attacks them on in front of him, and rather than trying to change it up.
Yeah, I think he was hoping to bluff for the Scarf and then like get a flip turn out there.
Yeah.
No. Okay, so losing Shandy's a big deal. And a substitute Feeny.
Which
He's trying to Calm Mind substitute. Yeah, no. Sub's bad for these kinds of sets. You either need your recovery move or Iron Defense. Like sub doesn't work.
Roost Coco, good play. Keep it healthy so that the Mega Pincer doesn't threaten to sweep.
I love the taunt, even just coming into the Deoxys defense, just to kind of keep it in check.
Serena comes in play. I like Serena. Definitely some scary play here. Ooh, the high jump kick's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, you're just it's gonna cost your life. No problem.
Good on Claude to stick in, expecting a switch out.
Power Whip? A very unfortunate miss, actually.
Oh, Iron Defense.
But that means you don't have Draining Kiss, because we've seen both setup moves and Sub and Surf.
Oh, that's really interesting on the Moltres. What does the Moltres have to threaten this? Oh, Taunt.
Oh my gosh, Moltres is so tanky. But this is where you wish you had Draining Kiss, because like you couldn't do anything. You would actually start to threaten it.
Exactly. Oh, a really big miss by Claude, though. Because it lets Surf come in now and get the KO. There's no great switch in here.
Because Coco can live. Coco can live one Surf. But if you had Draining Kiss, then you would heal all of that back up, and if you're forced to do it again, you know? Like, you'd be fine.
Really good play for the Zero Aura, because now Coco's really weak and vulnerable to KOs. Ooh, high jump kick on the Serena.
But now this means rocks are on the field forever, which is a big deal when you have a Mega Pincer.
The biggest of deals.
So good, Lando forces the KO. Alright, Sneasler time, let's go. Sword Stance and... Okay, he doesn't have an attacking move. I think when you see the Sneasler and Deoxys defense is one of your switch-ins, you gotta run like just Psychic. Something like that. Or even T-Wave.
Absolutely.
So yeah, Sneasler's gonna get some KOs and... Okay, the Pincer will stop it. Quick attack.
It just does what it does.
I don't think there's enough here for return to... No.
But quick attack now will KO it, so...
But you still have the Lando and your Scarf, so you're faster and you just don't care. Yeah, you've got the Rock Slide. That's the I know it's going to KO and I don't want to watch Stone Edge miss and have my life drained before me.
Ooh, I don't know if that crit mattered. Probably not.
Probably not. It's Scarf, so it's offensive, you know.
Ooh, Calm Mind.
It doesn't matter. It's still not getting through Orlando.
It's fun to see, is all I'm saying. You don't get to see a lot of Calm Mind zeros. So, really good 1-0 win for Claude. Kept his win con alive, which was the Landorus, which simultaneously shuts down Zero Aura while offering him a clean out towards the end game.
Yeah, so really well done. And with that, we're gonna hop into our standings here. And now we have 4 2-0 teams, but one of them's not a real one.
It's me. I cheated.
It's me. I haven't played a match yet. It's so sad. But interesting enough is the kill leaders. We here we have Ursaluna at the top with 10.
It's not even close. It's
in 2
Ursaluna
weeks.
is just averaging 5 KOs a week. It's absurd. I mean,
Well, it
this
can't
Sparky
keep
is
that. Yeah, I can't keep that pace.
Sparky's has a single strategy with CLDL, which is what one game plan can I execute week after week after week to feed KOs to something. He was a little more spread the love last season, but it was all centered around the Zoroark deception play. This season, he's just said, now we're going to simplify it, and it's just all in on Ursaluna, clicking Facade or Earthquake 6 turns a match and getting 6 KOs if he can.
All right, now
Working pretty well.
Going down for more reasonable play. Lando and Mega Kangaskhan each at 5. I'd like to see the Mega Kangaskhan up there. That's a bit more unusual.
That's actually quite surprising. Mega Kangaskhan does not usually get drafted and almost never pops off as a kill leader.
Dracovish up there, that's kind of normal. It's a bit cursed,
especially the way,
but like,
yeah,
it's fine. Machamp up there, that's awesome. And then like, you know, Zapdos, very cool. Scissor, Mega, Infernape, and then Zapdos Galar to kind of round us out for the top 10.
Yeah, there's some fun mons up here. You know, you really don't see. I don't think I've ever seen a Machamp this high before. And then Ursaluna is doing great work because it was more of a theory mon last season, but not really executing. It's executing this season.
Yeah, it needed the Facade. It needed actual stab moves instead of
Double Edge was
stuff it got.
Double Edge was a fun 2-turn nuke last season, but it just left you pretty weak pretty quickly.
It wasn't. That ain't it, Chief.
Yeah, exactly.
But all right, so that's it. We're gonna wrap this up pretty quickly. If you're still here, thanks for watching. All I will say is that give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, stroke my ego, please. Thank you, appreciate it. We'll be back next week for another obnoxiously long video. And thanks for watching. I've been Dr. Geo. With me is
P McGee.
We'll catch you all later. Peace.